All right. You are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Dallas Cowboys. And why are the Dallas Cowboys 0-16? Because they suck. They lost in the playoffs at home 48-32 to the Packers. The Cowboys suck. Haven't won a playoff game in about 300 centuries. The Cowboys suck. Welcome to the Gridiron, baby. Yeah, how about that, Cowboys? Huh? Boom, you're out of there. You suck, Cowboys. You suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there always going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening? I greatly appreciate it. Or who's going to spend any time watching a replay this once again? Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say? Please feel free. Fire away, throw in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free. Fire away. But I mean, plus also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes or whatever I might want to be, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free and fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. The second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one has their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live, if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. And then also, finally, in the description box below, there's 2 additional links, just a little ways down. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. And the one underneath it, I'm an old-time fart, so I hate change. So the one underneath that Facebook link, it's a Twitter link. It's always been Twitter. It's Twitter today. It'll be Twitter tomorrow. 3 trillion years from now, it'll be Twitter because I'm an old-time fart, and I hate change. It's Twitter. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants to call it, that's on you, bro. I ain't calling it that. It's Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I try to put Giants-related stuff in there every day. Right, so, and then the link just above it, right, takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants Gridiron. We have over 7,600 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous. It's might I add, I mean, it's going freaking bananas. I mean, because after the Cowboys lost, I must have about 350 different things in there about the Cowboys losing. It's great. I mean, every second there's like almost another. Every 5 seconds there's almost like another somebody else giving a thumbs up or a laughing at the post I have about the Cowboys going down. So we'll talk about the Cowboys a little bit here, but basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in there, but if you become a member, the members post stuff in here as well. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in this group every day, right? So please, it's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a Facebook group. Join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right, for all that stuff said and done and out of the way with. Well, let's see here. What are the Eagles were driving? 1st and 10, Tampa Bay 37. It's the end. Oh, okay. They're starting the fourth quarter, but so it's 25-9. The Bucks, of course, it was 16-9, and Jalen Hurts decided the intentional grounding in his own end zone gave 2 points, and then a was it like a 56-yard touchdown pass, I think it was. Makes it 25-9. Eagles are driving. We just started the fourth quarter. Eagles driving, 2nd and 10 here at the Bucs 37. So the Bucs there's still a ton of time left. The Eagles, very good offense. Julio Jones is inactive. I mean, Mr. Injury himself. But, the Eagles certainly can score, no question. So this game is by no stretch of the imagination over with. But the Bucs are up by 2 full touchdowns, 2 touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions. So, but the one nice thing is that the Bucs are moving the ball. They've been moving the ball up and down the field. They do have some offense going for them and everything. So even if the Eagles were to score, the Bucs have especially the Eagles defense is just pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. So now the Eagles are down to the Bucs 22. So it looks like they're driving in. So either they're going to score a touchdown or kick a field goal. But but I'm saying at least the Bucs, they've been moving. So they have if the Eagles score, maybe they can hold serve. Maybe, Bucs can go back down and maybe score something or whatever. But that game's still far, far from over. But anyway, I'll talk about the Cowboys in just a minute here, or 2 or 3 or 4. But the Giants, I'm not really over, kind of not totally over the moon. I've got the Giants add 3 more guys in a defensive coordinator search. Now, one of them, apparently this is from Giants country for Patricia training, and she heard some names. Now, we're not sure if one of them Chargers defensive. I don't know if he's the defensive coordinator or if he's their defensive secondary coach, but Derek Ainsley. The Dolphins linebacker coach, Anthony Campanile, I believe that's how you pronounce it. And it looks like it's supposed to be Campanile, but I think it's Campanile. And then, of course, Jerome Henderson. I'm down with Jerome. I'm good with that. I don't know why. I'm not. If Derek Ainsley, I don't know if you can ever. Maybe for a brief moment in history, look at the Chargers defense anytime. We're going back to they were the Los Angeles Chargers for 1 year in 1960. Then they went to San Diego. But we're going back to 1960, right? It's hardly ever a time in the San Diego Charger history where you look at their defense and go, damn, we got to get that coordinator. It's like kind of like the Dallas Cowboys and winning playoff games. They just don't mix. It's like oil and water. They just don't mix, right? It's like San Diego and defense. It just don't mix. Let's see. The chart. Let's see here. The Chargers here. They had 9 interceptions this season. Their defense I'm talking about. They gave up 26 touchdowns. They gave up almost 4,600 yards passing, 7.7 yards per pass attempt. Rushing. The defense gave up 4.1 yards rushing. They gave up 1,924. They gave up 18 rushing touchdowns. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know. I don't know. You got me on that one there. I think now Daboll did. If I'm going to read this here, I think Daboll crossed paths with Ainsley before. It's either the 42-year-old Ainsley has primarily been a defensive back coach in his career. We got a good defensive quarterback coach who might be a very good defensive coordinator. I don't know why we're not going with Jerome, but anyway, he began his career in 2005. He also had 2 stints at Alabama as a graduate. So he did cross paths as second school's defensive back coach in 2016 and 2017, where he crossed paths with Daboll for 1 season because Daboll was the Alabama's offensive coordinator and quarterback coach in 2017. So for 1 season, they crossed paths. All right. He was hired by former Chargers head coach Brandon Staley in 2020 as the team's defensive back coach and took over the defensive play calling after Staley was fired last month. Okay. So as a player, let's see, he was a player with Troy. This is the second request the Giants have reportedly made for the Chargers regarding their coaching staff. Now, of course, let's not forget. Now, I don't blame the Chargers at all for blocking. I don't blame them at all. If their special teams coordinator, if special teams coordinator is under contract, right, doing a very good job for them. They want to just at least hold on to them while they bring a new coach in. The one thing is that if they're that good, right, if the new coach that comes in for the Chargers doesn't want him for whatever reason, he won't be on the street very long. The one thing I don't kind of like is that what they did with the Raiders, right? The Raiders let the Giants talk to their offensive line coach, who we wind up hiring. They didn't want to keep him in limbo, right? They're kind of like, well, we don't have a head coach just yet. So, some teams will let you talk to their assistants and some won't. And it was a lateral move and they go ahead, talk. Sometimes you get the good, sometimes you get the bad, or sometimes you get yes, sometimes you get no. But I'll tell you what, for everything I'm hearing from about a new offensive line coach, let me tell you what, I'm pretty freaking pumped up. I'm almost more pumped up about this than any defensive coordinator or special teams whatever. I'm more pumped up about the fact that we might actually have a good offensive line for the first time since Abraham Lincoln was walking the earth. I'm really pumped up about this guy. Everything I'm hearing is really, really, really good, really, really good. But I'm not really totally pumped up about us bringing in. I don't know. The guy, was it Wilson? I think the guy from the Ravens, their secondary coach. I was a little pumped up about that because you look at the Ravens and their secondary and say, it's pretty good. PFF has them graded like their coverage grade over like a 90 and stuff. It's like, it's pretty good. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. I can see that. No matter if it's a defensive line coach, if it's a linebacker or a secondary coach, something like that. But, you want to look at that team's stats, and it's like, whoa, that's pretty good, I'm looking at the Chargers here, and just the thought of bringing a defensive coach, coordinator, whatever, in from the Chargers is just like, that just don't make any. I don't know if that's ever made sense to me. And I've been watching football since the 70s. I don't know if there's ever been a point in time where I was like, damn, they got that's a defense there. Usually it's the defense that stinks because Herbert's trying to throw the ball 800 times a game just to score enough points so they can win a game. So I don't know. I don't quite get that one. But so they're still trying. Oh, what do we got? Oh, wow. Play-by-play. Hold on. It's 25-9. The Bucs got the ball. 4th and 5 at the 17. Jalen Hurts pass incomplete. He threw a pass deep to DeVonta Smith. And so they went on down. So instead of trying to kick a field goal to make it 25-12 on 4th and 5, they went for a pass. It looks like maybe it was in the end zone or something like that. So, Elliott, 40-yard field goal is good, is nullified by penalty. Wow, penalty on Tampa Bay, defensive offside 5 yards and forced. Wow. So they took the points off the board, moved it to 4th and 5. Like, 4th and 10 we won't go, but 4th and 5 we'll go for it. Wow. Took points off the board. Wow. To throw a pass in the end zone. Incomplete. You suck, Eagles. Wow. Sirianni taking points off the board. It was good, nullified by a penalty. Penalty on Tampa Bay. Well, okay. Well, good. So, all right. So we got 11:57. Got 12 minutes left to go in the game. Tampa Bay's up by 2 full touchdowns. Man, I tell you what. There's nothing be better than just the Cowboys. And when I was kind of looking at, I just hate those two teams. Just totally despise those two teams. Because I'm always kind of looking around. It's like, okay, well, who can knock this team off? Who can knock that team? So I'm kind of figuring, with San Fran next week, right? They're number one. And I'm saying, well, I mean, the game still ain't over. It still ain't over. Anything can happen, right? Just two scores. But I'm saying, it's just say the Eagles would beat the Bucs. So, and then you got the Eagles. I'm just saying the Lions win. And I was just saying, say the Cowboys beat the Packers, which, most of us thought might happen. Well, then you got basically the top kind of like 4 teams. So the Eagles would go to San Fran, and San Fran's resting up. The Eagles blow, and boom, Eagles right out of there. Then you look at the Cowboys. It's like, okay, who can knock the Cowboys off? Well, I'll tell you what. The Lions, because they got screwed, and they got screwed by the refs, right? The 2-point conversion was good. It was good. Lions take the lead. Lions win the game, right? But the best thing that might have happened to the Lions quite possibly might have been the fact that the ref them over. So the Lions would go into the game. If this would have happened next week into Dallas, right? Lions are going to be awfully pissed off, right? So that might be the best thing to happen to them because they beat the Cowboys. The refs screwed them over. And now the Lions go back in there. So the Lions could beat the Cowboys in Dallas, right? If just say the Cowboys were to luck out because Jerry Jones greasing the hands of the refs once again and the Cowboys would have come out on top, well, then Dallas would have to travel to San Fran, and San Fran could hopefully possibly knock them off. So I'm always kind of looking like, you try to look down the line. Who can knock these two teams off? Well, I guess the Packers took care of those Cowgirls. But, well, possibly, I said, we got the I think one more score here. If the Tampa Bay's moving around 1st and 10, they're throwing 46. Take time off the clock. Hold on to the ball. Get tackled inbounds. Keep that clock running. Use up 35 seconds, 36, 37 seconds every play. Every play. Drain that clock. Drain it. Just suck the life out of those Eagles. Just kill them. Absolutely kill them. One more score here. Just might be good. If they can kick a field goal here, make it 28-9, make it what would that be, a 19 points? Yeah, 19 point, right? That would be 3 scores. There would be 2 touchdowns, 2 2-point conversions, and a field goal. The Eagles would have to get basically in the final like 5 or 6 minutes or so of the game. Oh, boy, what do we got? Penalty. Oh, there you go. Holding. Way to go. Now we're 1st and 20. Oh, well. At least hopefully they can take some time off the clock anyway. But as I said, I always try to look at who can knock these 2 teams off. If the Packers go to the Super Bowl, go. If the Bucs go to the Super Bowl, go. If the Lions go to the Super Bowl, go. If the 49ers, go. Anybody but the Eagles or the Cowboys. I said, we don't have to worry about the Cowboys. And if the Eagles were to win, they would have to travel. They'll have to travel to Detroit, right? And then and the Packers would have to play the 49ers. So, the Eagles would have to beat the Bucs. They'd have to beat in Detroit against the Lions. They'd have to come back from this here. They'd have to win in Detroit. And then they'd have to quite possibly beat the 49ers in San Fran. I don't see that happening. So, I'm not really overly concerned about the Eagles, even if they were to somehow come back and win this game. But anyway, I said, I'm not, that Charger, I'm not overly thrilled with that. Jerome Henderson, they're talking about here, possibly, of course, he was a defensive back from 1991 to 1998. Before coming to the Giants in 2020 as a member of the former head coach Joe Judge's staff, the 54-year-old Henderson coaching career also had stops with the Browns, Cowboys, and Falcons. Very good coach. Very good coach. So I don't know if he has huge aspirations to be a defensive coordinator, or if he likes what he's doing, or whatever it is. But I tell you what, if we gave him a chance, I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. He did pretty well with Deonte Banks this year, right? The secondary overall had a pretty good year, right? Now, the other one, okay, is an Anthony Campanile, all right? It looks like it's supposed to be Campanile, but it's Campanile. This got some, I got a little excitement out of this one. Not quite as much as I believe his name was Wilson from the Ravens. I'm more a little pumped up about that guy. But, I mean, here, what he is the linebacker coach, I believe he is. Let's see. He was hired as the Dolphins linebacker coach in 2020 and then head coach Brian Flores and retained by current Mike McDaniel. He interviewed for the Dolphins defensive coordinator job last season, but lost out to Vic Fangio, who replaced the fired Josh Boyer. 2022, the Dolphins defense, this is true, ranked fourth against the run, only 103 rushing yards per game, which is something the Giants desperately need to control the frickin' running, the defense, the run defense. Miami's best run defense since 2011 when they finished third. Campanile coached the linebackers. Jerome Baker had 100 tackles, and Roberts had 104 tackles as part of that defense, who became the first Dolphins teammates to reach the 100-tackle mark since 2018. The year prior, the Dolphins' pass rush recorded 48 sacks, one short of the franchise record, which was held in 1983 and 2005, with the linebackers contributing 19 and a half of those sacks. So, that's not bad. I said, I'm not exactly over the moon here. Whoa. Bucks are driving. 3rd and 1, down to the Philly 28. Come on, baby. One more field goal. 7 minutes to go. Keep that clock running. Keep it running, baby. Tick, 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 tick. Oh, the Eagles took a timeout. 7:16 left to go. Second timeout. The Eagles have one timeout left and a 2-minute warning. So they only have 2 timeouts left. 3rd and 1. You kind of wonder if the Bucks would go 2 plays here. Kind of wonder. You think that 2 plays to try to get 1 yard? Because that would, I'm not saying that certainly would not end the game, but I mean, they get a first down, right? And then chew up another couple minutes on the clock and then somehow maybe get a field goal out of it. That would pretty much end the game. That would pretty much end the Eagles season. Oh, man. Oh. It's like Christmas around here, folks. It's like Christmas around here. The Cowboys getting blown out, and then wow. Anyway, 1st and 10. White left tackle for 2 yards. First down. Keep that clock running, baby. Oh, Eagles use their 3rd timeout. 3rd timeout. Yes, the Eagles have no more timeouts. 1st and 10, right? I wouldn't just say run the ball. You don't want to just do that. But they're in field goal range. The field goals has a couple kickers already. The field goal kicker has a couple field goals made, or a nice, decent-sized field goal. So this is well within his range. They can chew. I mean, as I said, I don't even maybe think about it. Just running the ball. How many yards can you get? Right, get a few more yards, another 3, 4, 5. Maybe they can break one. Right, but run it 3 times. Take another 2 minutes or so off the clock, and then go down to the 4th down. Let it go down to 1 second left to go. Call a timeout. Get the field goal unit out there. Take 2.5, whatever minutes off the clock. Bring it down like 4.5 minutes or so to go. Kick a field goal. Put them up by 3 scores with about 4.5 minutes to go. That might just about pretty much ice the game. What do we got here? Up the middle, 4 yards. There you go. 2nd and 6. Eagle 22. Oh, I love it, baby. 2nd and 6. The clock is running. It's running. The Eagles can't stop it. I love it. Eagles fucking blow. But so far, I'm not overly thrilled. Leslie Frazier has he has some coaching aspirations now. He has a head coaching. I forgot. Is it with the Raiders or the? I forgot. Somebody said he has I saw an article where Leslie Frazier has an interview as a head coaching now. He has, he's had some head coaching experience in the past, and it's not turned out very well, might I add. So I don't know how well it's going to be. Darius Slay was injured on the play. Darius Slay was injured coming into this game. So anyway, but Leslie Frazier has not had a successful coaching career. Defensive coordinator coaching, yeah. So, I mean, you don't know if he's going to get the job or not or whatever. But so far, I'm not overly thrilled. I said the one that they had with the Ravens the defensive secondary coach, I was pretty thrilled about that one. So we'll have to wait and see, right? Nobody's coming in for a second interview or anything like that or whatever like that. So they're still looking. But, some of these guys here, I'm not exactly thrilled over the moon about, instead of anything, if they're going to go this way, I just give it to Jerome Henderson. Let him see what he can do before it comes to worse, right? He knows the players. He knows what they can and can't do, which would be huge, right? So, but anyway, so they're keeping their options open. So, but then they got Kafka, right? He's got an interview with the Seahawks. I somehow really can't see Kafka replacing Pete Carroll. I don't know. But you want some offensive coordinators attached to the vacant Seattle Seahawks head coaching job? Here you go. Adam Schefter reports the Giants offensive coordinator Mike Kafka is drawing some interest from Seattle. Wow. Seahawks requested a head coaching interview with the Giants offensive coordinator Mike Kafka, per source. Kafka recently completed an interview with the Tennessee Titans head coaching job, so the Seahawks aren't the only team who are keen on taking a look at him. While Kafka has been with the Giants for 2 seasons, his notoriety as a coach comes from his time with Andy Reid. Kafka was KC's quarterback coach for Patrick Mahomes' first 2 seasons as a starter. Then he added passing game coordinator to his quarterback's coach title from 2022 to 2021. Kafka assumed the role of offensive coordinator with the Giants in 2022 when New York surprisingly made the playoffs behind what essentially the only good year of Daniel Jones' career. The 2023 offense, well, it was pretty bad, and New York's quarterbacks were sacked only 85 times. 85 times. So we'll have to wind up waiting and see what happens there. They requested an interview, for a head coach. I'm sure it ain't going to get blocked at all or nothing like that. They'll go, and we'll have to wait and see. But you know what? I mean, if worse comes to worse, if Kafka went, I'm not, I wouldn't be bummed out about it. I know Daboll can call the plays. Right, Shea Tierney or one of those guys can get elevated. Maybe you won't have quite the experience or the knowledge that Kafka's had, especially because he's learned under Daboll. Daboll's a good offensive coach, good offensive mind, right? Without question. He's had success at Alabama, had success at Buffalo, right? So then Kafka, good, smart, intelligent. And he's had, he's been with Eric Bieniemy. Let's not forget about him, right? And Andy Reid, right? I mean, so he's been underneath some good offensive minds. So, whether our offense turned out good this year or not, there's still some good stuff going on. Kafka's brain up there, and that's what I'm sure these other coaches are. Not these coaches, but I'm saying these other organizations want to come in there and talk to him about. I don't know yet. Maybe necessarily hasn't blown anybody away. Quite possibly, perhaps last season. The one thing is with him is the more interviews you get, the more comfortable you get. Some of the questions they're going to ask, right? You know how to answer it. There's no hesitation. You can fire it out right away and all of that. And quite possibly, it's just a matter of time before somebody does give him a job. Now, of course, it winds up being like, somebody like with a Joe Judge, where, they give you the job and you crash and burn. Chances are you may not ever get it. I mean, I don't know what Gettleman was thinking about with Pat Shurmur. Pat Shurmur, good offensive mind. Not such a good head coach, but very good offensive mind as we see what he did with Daniel Jones in his rookie season. But, Kafka, somewhere along the line, will get his opportunity, I'm sure. If people are asking for him right now, he had a couple interviews, 2 or 3 interviews last season. So far, he's had 2. I guess it'll be his second this season. Up, touchdown! Mayfield, the Godwin. Boom! Eagles season is over. 5:42 left in the fourth. Boom! Bucks up by 3 scores. Eagles going down. Oh, baby. Eagles blow. Oh, man. I can't wait to post this stuff on Facebook tonight, baby. Oh, man. It's like Christmas around here. Cowboys one day, Eagles the next. Getting blown out. Cowboys blown out at home. Eagles blown out on the road. Man, love it. Man. The only thing that's going to bum me out a little bit about with the Eagles is they might fire their coach. And I want him to keep him because he sucks. He is absolute trash. Nick Sirianni, you can blow. Absolute trash. And I said, now, if they let him go, I'm gonna be touched. Because they might bring in a coach who knows what to do. You know what I mean? So that's the only problem there. You know what I mean? You're kind of hoping maybe they'll keep on the Sirianni for another year or two or so. And then it's like, you know what? This guy really stinks. Now they let him go. You know what I mean? So hopefully they don't let him go. Hopefully they hold on to him because he sucks. He is trash. Absolute trash. And I love it. I love it, baby. So if you join the New York Giants Gridiron Facebook group, look for about 300,000 posts saying stuff about the Eagles tonight because I'm going off, baby. I'm going off. But, look for Kafka. It just might be, a matter of time, before he goes elsewhere. Now, there's a good chance, he might be looking for, because more and more these posts and everything and stuff and all that comes out. You got talking about Brian Daboll has no composure. Assistants warned to stay away. This is not good. I mean, this is not good at all. Now, apparently, Shane, got involved in this and he was listening in and stuff like that and all. And I mean, so hopefully he's talking to Daboll. You know what I mean? Because there's getting a fiery temper and this, that, and the other thing and all. But there's ways of, showing your anger and stuff like that. And then there's other ways. I mean, if you're going to be keeping coaches and stuff like that away from this organization, I mean, you can't be doing some of the stuff he's talking about that they're talking about here. So let's read over this. This is from Giants Wire. We got here. In the aftermath, defensive coordinator Wink Martindale's parting ways with the Giants, several reports have surfaced suggesting that head coach Brian Daboll is erratic and irrational and regularly dressed down his assistants in a personal fashion. Those reports continued on Monday with Pat Leonard of the New York Daily News peeling back the curtain on the Giants' internal strife even further. In a deep dive into the deteriorating situation in East Rutherford, Leonard revealed several new details, including Daboll placing blame for the poor offensive performance on other coordinators and a complete refusal to accept any blame for the regression of 2023. Leonard reveals that Daboll repeatedly took over play calling, often losing his temper with coordinators for doing what he asked, all while deflecting any responsibility. In Week 11, Daboll slammed Martindale for allowing the Washington Commanders to remain in the game despite their solid performance. It was a repeat offense for Daboll. Wink Martindale's defense had forced 4 turnovers. Thomas McGahee's special teams unit had forced another, and Mike Kafka's offense with Tommy DeVito at quarterback had scored 2 of its 3 touchdowns on short fields off of those takeaways. But now Washington's offense was driving, aided by Kayvon Thibodeau roughing the passer penalty outside the red zone. And that's when Brian Daboll started playing the blame game on Martindale and his defensive staff. You're going to lose this game just like you lost us the Jets game, Daboll griped on the headset, according to numerous sources in the building. You can't be saying that, man. You can't be saying that. Daboll was blaming the defense for the Giants' infamous 13-10 overtime loss to the Jets on October 29th, in which the offense had thrown for -9 yards. And Daboll's late game mismanagement had opened the door to a full-scale team-wide meltdown. Daboll is never short on criticism, but apparently is always short on solutions. That's the trademark of an underperformer. Daboll's sideline behavior was destructive, in many coaches' opinion. His input was never proactive, always reactionary. And you can't do that. And his outrage was rarely accompanied by a suggested solution. He has no composure, one team source said. Shane started listening in. Martindale reportedly reached out to Giants ownership as a way to circumvent Daboll, which eventually led to general manager Joe Shane to listen in on the dysfunction. Now, Shane is monitoring the dynamic at Washington after being alerted by several meaningful parties that Daboll's behavior and the sideline dynamic were not constructive. Shane would stay on the headset for 4 games, sources say, against the Commanders, Patriots, Packers, and Saints before stepping back offline for the final 3. Repeatedly assumed control. Daboll is demeaning, taking play calling duties from Mike Kafka, giving them to other assistants, and then giving them back at random. Daboll took play calling away from Kafka multiple times, according to sources, and gave it back each time. He gave it to the quarterback coach, Shea Tierney, for the second half at Dallas on week 10. Daboll's unpredictability, one source said, was his defining trait. There was no pattern, rhyme, or reason to his changes from others' perspective. Daboll also took over Kafka's offensive meetings in week 7 ahead of a home game against Washington, as the Daily News first reported. And he didn't give complete control back to Kafka until week 11, after the offense had averaged 11.7.5 point. Well, that I can understand. Right? Not even scoring 12 points a game. But this is where it's, not too good. There's warning for assistance. Want to join the Giants? Don't say some who have experienced Daboll's wrath. Don't. You want to join the Giants staff? Don't. That's what some say. Right? The story of the 2023 Giants undoing isn't about a personal feud between Daboll and Martindale and the past, though. It's about bad football and a flawed process that still exists inside the Giants' walls. It's about an organization with enough problems that one Giants staffer recently advised an NFL assistant calling about a vacancy. And he said, "Don't come here." That's not good. You don't want assistants in there. Said, "Don't come here." That ain't good. That ain't good at all. Daboll is reportedly never wrong, while all of those around him are always wrong. Although he apparently has no solutions, he doesn't hesitate to place blame. That's really sad. That's really, really sad. Daboll receives advice on his headset in those moments from an analytics and game management team. But one source called that collaboration a broken process, saying it's not thorough or advanced, and regardless of what is discussed during the week, Daboll's game day decisions become up for grabs, impulse calls without guardrails. A scripted show. When Daboll gave Martindale the game ball following a Week 12 victory over the New England Patriots, it seemed staged and dishonest, and that's because it was. Aha! No one viewed Daboll giving Martindale the game ball after that 10-7 win over the Patriots as genuine. It was seen as transparent, staged public relations move. The players, however, did not mutiny. Daboll had cultivated support in the locker room. Players stood by him publicly. One player said Daboll's 2022 playoff berth and win still carried weight during the downtime. Players also responded to a lighter practice schedule from training camp to the team's walkthrough-filled final 3 weeks of the season. Plenty of people in the building, including players, coaches, and executives, said Daboll's bought meaningful capital with last year's success. But now that the pressure should turn up in year 3 because of how badly year 2 went. Now, that's the one thing is that you got to what we got? They got the ball back. 2 minutes to go. Game over, baby. Game over. Oh, man. 32-9, baby. Eagles suck. 32-9, baby. Boom. Oh, man. It's like Christmas around here, baby. Cowboys one day, Eagles the next. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, man. But seriously, folks, meanwhile, back at the range, Daboll's got to, he's got to you can't do that, man. You cannot do that. There's a time and a place for some of that stuff and everything, but at least Shane was listening in, so that's good, right? Hopefully, maybe he's doing a little talking or something like that to Dable and say, dude, I love you. I brought you in here, this, that, and the other thing, but we can't have that. Can't have that. So this is going to be this year. This is going to be huge because his seat might have been just a little lukewarm last year. I mean, the way things were going, and all that. And as I said, you look at it, we were just a couple plays, 3 plays away, right, from possibly being 9-8. As horrible as it was, third string quarterback in there, lost our starting quarterback 2 times, offensive line problems, 85 sacks, all this stuff, right? I mean, if we kick the field goal, Graham Gano's legs not bad. He kicks the field goal. We win the Jet game. If the C-no penalty referee calls, Darren will Holden, right, in the Buffalo game, and we get first down. If Tyrod Taylor doesn't blow the call at the end of the first half and call a run play, runs the clock out, we kick a field goal. Maybe at the end of the game, we only need a field goal. Maybe we beat Buffalo, right? Tyrod Taylor. I mean, the 2-point conversion against the Rams. Right, we missed an extra point. The Rams kicker missed a couple extra points, though, and we missed the field goal. We missed there. I mean, we're only a couple plays away from possibly being 9-8. But anyway, so I mean, if the seat was a little lukewarm, next year it's going to start. They're going to start cranking up the heat there, right? So if we start really getting bad, that's Daboll's going to be, he's going to be a freaking madman. He's going to start losing his hair. That's right. I forgot I don't have any hair. But it's going to start cranking up, and the adversity shows you will bring out the true person. So if things really start going bad, it's going to, right? But you can't have that. You can't have that where now I'm not saying Wink was 100%, Mr. Angel and all that and everything, but I mean you can't have it where, because it's a small world out there. A lot of people know a lot of people, especially in today's NFL and all that. You got guys come. I'm looking at the Giants running back coach. I mean, the past 3-4 years, we keep getting a new running back coach. I'm not saying it's Daboll's fault or not like that, but I'm just saying there's a huge turnaround. All right, he goes from here, he goes to this school. Well, there's 10 or 15 other coaches. They go elsewhere, right? So, right. And then he goes elsewhere. So within like 2 or 3, 4 years, there's like 30, 40, 50 coaches or whatever that know each other because of this one move, right? He goes to a place where there's 15 coaches. 2, 3 years later, 3 or 4 of those coaches go elsewhere where there's 15 coaches. They go, there's 20 coaches. So it's a small world. Whether it's college or pros, it's a small world, especially with the coaches moving around so much. Oh my goodness. So you got a lot of coaches know a lot of coaches. And when you got somebody picking the phone up, they're not picking the phone up to talk to Shane. They're not picking the phone up to talk to Dable. They're going to call, whoever the assistant coach is, maybe it's somebody they work with. I worked with my friend at so-and-so at Alcorn State 7 years ago. Yo, Pete, what's going on? Yo, hey, got a little vacancy there. How's the atmosphere? Nice. Is a place I want to work? Is a place you want to work? Right? And they're like, nope. Man, that's not good. I mean, if you're maybe this close or so to maybe getting in a top-notch coordinator, somebody might turn. I mean, we're lucky we got frickin' Brasillo in here. Thank goodness nobody scared him away. I'm just saying everything I'm hearing about him is, right? But I mean, if you got, if you're trying to get in the top of the top to come here, right, to help you turn this thing around. But if they're calling assistants in, they're like, nah, man, I wouldn't come here. It's the same thing, like with, what do players do? I mean, yeah, the do-re-mi that does some talking, but there's 31 other teams out there, and there's other places that don't have tax and stuff like that. New Jersey, they're going to hit you. New Jersey, New York area, they're going to hit you with taxes pretty good, right? So if you got a top-notch, right, free agent, calls his friend, right? I mean, these guys work out with each other. Guys from different teams, they're hanging out with one another, right? They're texting, tweeting, and twatting and all, FaceTime, talking, right? They call, hey, the Giants, they just, I'm a free agent. They said that they're talking to my agent and thinking about maybe being interested in me. What do you think? Dude, I wouldn't come here. Coach is freaking nuts, man. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Yo, hey, I'll holler at you soon. All right. And he picks his phone up. Nah, man. No, the Giants, just scratch him off, brother. I don't care. I'll go someplace else. You know what I mean? You can't be doing that. You can't be doing that. Especially, if you're not winning. I mean, if this is a winning place, and you come here and people want to maybe host the Lombardi or something, whatever like that, maybe. But man, if you're floundering just to try to become 500 on it, man, you can't be doing that. So at least Shane's apparently, according to this article and all that, Shane's knows of it. Hopefully he's talked to Dable and putting him on a leash and he's gonna. Dable can't be doing that, man. Can't be doing that. So we'll have to wait and see. But let's see what we got here, man. Let's see. Is the game over yet? Final 32-9. What do we got, man? I love this, man. The Eagles. What do they get? 13 first downs, 275 yards of offense. The Eagles had 41 yards rushing, 15 rushing attempts. Absolute trash. Oh, man. Oh, man. It's like Christmas right there. Cowboys one day, Eagles the next. I love it. Absolutely freaking love it. Can't stand the Eagles. Oh, man. Oh, so my next thing is, how about them Cowboys, huh? Man, I'll tell you what. I just couldn't believe. Just couldn't, see the Packers win. I don't know. I mean, I was kind of like, it's like, well, if the Packers are to win, it'd have to be kind of, obviously it's going to be a close game. The Cowboys are going to score some points no matter what. I mean, I couldn't see a 17-10 game. There's no way. So, the Cowboys are certainly scoring in the 20s. I mean, I'd have a hard time at home. Dak threw the ball 60 times. I mean, you got to be kidding me. But what was just so shocking was just the way the Packers were just walking up and down the field. It was just a joke. Absolute trash, that defense. My goodness. I mean, that was the thing that the Cowboys are at home. How many teams they just pulverized? They win team. They beat the Giants. Was it 49-17? How many teams did they beat this year? They just freaking killed them at home. And what was it? I forgot what the winning streak was. I mean, the Cowboys, it's at home, the home winning streak. I mean, they were just straight up just killing teams too. But I mean, for them to score 32 points, yep, no, I wouldn't argue with that. But to give up, was it 48 points to the Packers? 48. I mean, they couldn't stop them. It was just, they were just walking up and down the field. It was just like, what was it? It was 48-16 at one point, I think it was. It was like, holy cow. It's like, I mean, when they lost to the, you can go back however many. I mean, the one Aaron Rodgers, however many years ago that was, right, when they kicked the game-winning field goal there, when Aaron Rodgers was scrambling out to he throws his dart. I forgot the dude catches it on the sideline, barely got his toes in, right? Led to the game. I think the game-winning field goal and just that debacle against the 49ers and all. Man. But, just totally outclassed in this game. I mean, the defense was just like, I'd be absolutely shocked if McCarthy has a job after this. I mean, the team he was given, really, and to get blown out at home. I mean, as I said, they were down by what, like 32 points at one point at home? Holy cow. I mean, he's totally outclassed. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see what Jerry Jones is going to wind up doing after this. I mean, he was just not, I mean, it was just, I mean, holy cow. I mean, he was just totally out, beside himself. I mean, I've never seen him be like that before. I mean, this might have been one of the absolute worst of all time, losses for him. I mean, because he's had, close losses, like the loss to the Giants, but they had the ball, they were driving, in 2007. I'm talking about the divisional round, right? We won 21-17, right? Romo throws the ball in the end zone, we intercept the pass, but they were driving, at a chance and all that. That was horrible enough and all that. But I mean, and the Cowboys were a very good team back then, so that was really kind of, I'm sure, demoralizing. But I mean, the Giants didn't blow them out of them. The Giants, it was a tough game. Cowboys scored a couple touchdowns, and then Kevin Boss had the long, the reception, to set up another Giants score. Monty Toomer had another touchdown. But it was a close game. It was embarrassing. They lost at home to the Giants in 2007 once again. I mean, so he's had some over the years. He's had some tough losses. Just the one against where they couldn't spike the ball in time against the 49ers. That's a tough loss. But I mean, like to come in like this, the number 2 seed, have a phenomenal record at home, the winning streak at home, and just get totally blown out of the water. I mean, by the Packers. I mean, that's not. I mean, the Cowboys said 3,700 yards passing this game, because I think Dak threw the ball 60 times. I mean, you throw the ball 60 times, you're not winning the ball game anytime. But I mean, just a totally annihilated at home. It's just straight up embarrassing. This has got to be probably the number one. Because also, I don't mean to sound like the Grim Reaper or nothing, but Jerry Jones he's not getting any younger. He's got to be 80 something years old, 85. Well, let's take a look here. Because I know he went to college, and I think he graduated from Arkansas in the early 60s. So he's got to be, that's 60 years ago. So how old is he? He was born in 1942. Okay, so he's 40. So he'll be 82 this year, I guess. Okay, he's 81. Oh, he just turned 81. Okay, all right. So he's 81. All right, but I mean, he's not getting any younger, and the stress of an NFL life, that's not a good thing for your ticker. You know what I mean? I hope the guy, doesn't. The guy's good for the NFL. He's good. He's good. When he loses, But as I said, I hope nobody ever passes away. But I mean, he's 81. His time is, somewhere along the line, he's going to start coming to it. He looks old, and these defeats really seem like they're draining life out of him, just sucking life right out of him. So, I mean, they get tougher and tougher for him. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what he does. But I'll be surprised if McCarthy, let's not forget. I mean, the 49ers are good. So, I mean, say that the Cowboys beat the Packers, and then they would, whoever they had to play in the next round, they came to Dallas, because Dallas would have the home field advantage once again, because the Dallas was the number 2 seed. And say Dallas wins that. And if Dallas went on the road into San Fran and lost the championship game, whatever, 24-23, 24-20, a tough loss on the road to a very good 49ers team, I could see maybe McCarthy, having another shot at it. It's like, well, we got this close, but we close. We lost by a field goal to the 49ers. The 49ers are good, So, but I mean, just holy cow, he's been given such a good team year in and year out. And let's not forget, somewhere along the line, right? If they're going to resign Dak or whatever to a big money contract, let's not forget. I mean, he's going to want at least 50, right? If not more. Okay. ABCD Lamb, right? His contract's coming up, right? He's going to want, 25, 30, right? And what about Micah Parsons? I mean, they'll pick up the fifth-year option on ABCD. They'll pick up the fifth-year option on Micah Parsons and all that. But what's Micah Parsons going to want? 30? Probably, right? So, I mean, somewhere along the line, ABCD is going to want at least 30, right? Micah Parsons is going to get probably close to 30, if not more, right? I said if Dak's going to want 50 or 60, I mean, you're looking at like three guys going to want like $100 million, 110, $20 million between, Yeah. I mean, you got to give them some credit. Stuff like that comes from good drafting, and the Cowboys have had some, they've drafted some good players, but they also got some other young guys in there too, like Diggs, right? I mean, some of these other guys, they're going to want to get paid as well too. Now, the Cowboys got a nice laundry list of free agents that the Cowboys are probably not going to be able to sign. So the Cowboys, they might start coming back down to earth a little bit more, a little bit like the Eagles. But also you can look at it like the Eagles. Some of what happened with the Eagles was they lost some talent, but they also lost their two coordinators, a defensive coordinator and an offensive coordinator. So you look back last year, they had a phenomenal team, and they did. Quite possibly maybe the overall best team in the NFL, quite possibly. But it was their coordinators. It wasn't Sirianni. I mean, people look, man, that guy's a good coach. Nah, what's he doing this year? Right? They were 10-1, 11-6. Now they're 11-7. Right? So they went 1-6 out of the last 7 games, including playoffs. Started 10-1, finished 1-6. They're the only team, I think, in NFL history to start a season 10-1. Now, not many teams have ever started 10-1 in NFL history, right? But the only team in NFL history to start a season 10-1 and not get to 12 wins. I mean, that's a collapse. I mean, and then just to get totally throttled. I mean, 32-9 on the road to the bottom. The Bucs are, hey, give them credit. Give Baker Mayfield some credit. I'll tell you what, I was laughing at that guy. Good for you, Baker. Heck of a season, brother. Good for you. Way to go, Baker. But, I mean, the Buccaneers, we're not talking the 72 Dolphins here. I mean, they lost 32-9. Holy cow. They couldn't even score double digits in points. Wow. So between the Buccaneers and the Giants, the last 2 games, they scored 19 points. They lost 27-10 and 32-9. Holy cow. Jeffrey Lurie, their owner, his head's going to be, I just paid $55 million to Jalen Hurts, and we suck. Oh, man, I love it. Because I'm down here in South Jersey. I'm about 25 minutes from the Walt Whitman Bridge, which takes you right into South Philly. I'm about 25 minutes, depending upon traffic, of course. 25 minutes. So, I mean, the whole area is nothing but Philly fans. That's all I hear. All I hear. So I'm so happy I don't have to listen to them. So happy. I love it. Thank you. And then finally, just want to give a quick little shout out here to former All-Pro, Norm Snead. He passed away. Apparently he was 84 years old. Now, he did nothing. He was with the Giants actually 2 times. In 1973, 72, 73, about half of 74. Then he came back and played in 76 with the Giants. The Giants had Fran Tarkenton up until 1971. They traded Fran Tarkenton away to the Minnesota Vikings. Well, in return, the Giants got 5 players. They got like 3 players and 3 or 4 players and a draft pick. Okay, but they were granted all 5 players they got returned back for Fran Tarkenton and trading Fran Tarkenton away to the Vikings. Well, one of the players they got was Norm Snead. So in 1972, the Giants actually had a winning record. They were 8-6. From 1964 to 1980, the Giants had 2 winning seasons. 1970, they were 9-5. 1972, they were 8-6. Well, 1972, when Norm Snead, he quarterback of the Giants, he was an all-pro for the Giants. He led the league in passing it. I think he completed 60.6% of his passes, which back then, I mean, nowadays you complete 60.6% of your passes, you're a 13th stringer. Yeah, we don't need you. 60%. Come on. Back then you complete, because back then, a little different game, right? You go over the middle, people take your head off. Ain't like that now. Yeah. Nowadays, they call plays. I'm surprised they don't have the defenders have to hold their hands over their eyes and count to like 5 Mississippi, and then and then try to catch up. It's probably going to come to that because some of these rules are just ridiculous. But back in the day, you complete 60% of your passes. That was pretty good. Well, in 1972, he was an all-pro for the Giants. Norm Snead. The Giants were 8-6. Out of their 6 losses, 4 of them were the losses were the teams that went to the championship games or the Super Bowl. They lost one time. They lost to the 72 Dolphins. They lost 23-13, right, at Yankee Stadium. They lost one time to the Cowboys. The Cowboys were in the championship game against the Redskins that year. They lost 26-3 to the Redskins in the championship game, and they lost twice to the Redskins. So 4 of their 6 losses, and actually the 2 other losses were teams that just missed the playoffs. They lost to the Detroit Lions the first game of the season. Detroit didn't make the playoffs, but they had a good record. They had a winning record. And then they lost their second or third game to the end of the season to the Cincinnati Bengals, 13-10. The Bengals didn't make the playoffs, but the Bengals had a record, I think, of 8-6 as well, too. So, the Giants lost 6 tough games that year, but they were 8-6. They just missed the playoffs by like a game or 2. But, as I said, Norm Snead had a very good season at the year for the Giants, him and Bob Tucker. Well, in 1973, the Norm Snead was the Giants quarterback. The first 2 games of the season, they played at Yankee Stadium. They won 1 game. They beat the Houston Oilers 34-14. Then they tied the Philadelphia Eagles 23-23 in a last-second field goal by Pete Gogolak. That would be the last game the New York Giants would ever play in New York City. Right, because they started rebuilding Yankee Stadium after that. The Giants got kicked out to the Yale Bowl. So they finished up the last 12 games of the season. They finished up in the Yale Bowl. Well, after that, I'll tell you what, the Giants were 1-0-1. All right. They finished the season 1-11. They won 1 game the rest of the season. Once they went to the Yale Bowl, they beat the Cardinals in 1973 at home. That was the only win they had. That was the only win they had in the Yale Bowl. They played the Yale Bowl 2 seasons. They won 1 home game in the Yale Bowl. So, but after it was just so weird because they were 8-6, 72, and it was a lot of the same guys. In 73, they were 2-11-1. So, and then in 74, Norm Snead started off as the Giants quarterback. They stunk then too. They were 2-12 in 74. Well, about halfway through the season, partially way through the season, they made a trade for Craig Morton. He came in. He became the Giants starting quarterback going forward. And then the Giants shipped out Norm Snead to the 49ers. So Norm Snead finished like the rest of the 74 season with the 49ers and the 75 season with the 49ers. In 76, the Giants brought Norm Snead back, and he played his final season in 1976 with the Giants. But he got drafted in 1961, so he had a long career. He threw more touchdown passes than more interceptions than touchdown passes. But it was a decent quarterback. It was nothing superhuman. A lot of it was also the teams he was with. He came in with the Redskins in the early 60s. They weren't very good. Then he went to the Eagles. They were horrible for the rest of the 70s. Then he had 1 season with the Vikings in 71. They were a good team, but they lost in the playoffs to the 70, 71. They lost to the Cowboys. What was it, 23-12? I think it was, or 20-12. They lost 20-12 to the Cowboys in the 71 playoffs. So that was like the only good team he was ever on. Then he went to the Giants. Giants weren't very good. He went to the 49ers back then in the mid-70s. The 49ers were not good. And he came back to the Giants, and the Giants were horrible in 76. We started off the season 0-7 in 76. So, if he had better talent around him, if he had better receivers and all this stuff and everything, he might have had, obviously, probably would have had some better numbers. But he was on some very bad teams. So, but for him to be in the NFL from 1961 to 1976, that's saying something. But you look at he had 3 All-Pro seasons in the 60s. His fourth and final All-Pro season came in 1972 with the Giants. I said, well, he led the NFC. It might have been the NFL in passing completion, 60.6%. And I said he led the Giants to their second and only winning season from 1964 to 1980. So, I mean, that's pretty doggone impressive. So he passed away at 84 years old, which is, ripe old age for an old-time football player. But what makes it so special for me is I grew up watching the Giants in 1970. First I ever remember was watching Fran Tarkenton on the field against the Cardinals, week 13, right? He came up to the line of scrimmage, number 10 on his helmet. That's my favorite guy of all time, number 10, Fran Tarkenton. So it was against the Cardinals. So I remember watching Fran Tarkenton in 1970, 1971. Then we traded him away to the Vikings. And I said we got Norm Snead in return. So I remember watching Norm Snead for a couple of years with the Giants. That's what just kind of got me. It just also reminds me too. It's like these guys are passing away. It's like I'm like, damn, Jeff, you're getting old too, right? But I just want to give a little shout out to Norm Snead. He was a former New York Giants quarterback. He played 2 different stints with the New York Giants in 1972. He was an All-Pro. Well, guys, it's been 1 hour and 6 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody spends any time watching the replays, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.